Hello, welcome to the Steam Release Podcast. I am joined today, as always, by the rainbow-licious, pink taffeta, joyful, a little bit pale. Are you well? Roadie Pie.
Hey, happy Pride, everyone. Happy Pride. Yes, I'm, all the colours of the rainbow.
All the colors of the rainbow. And joining, it's been a while, but Tom is back. The Radio Tom.
Must not make a reference. It's been a while.
It's been a while since you've been
I
here.
Was on this podcast last. It's been a while.
Yep. The legend.
That's it. I'm
the myth.
sorry.
Wait, no. The myth. The legend.
I mean, with how I'm looking, I kind of look like a mythological creature of some sort.
Yeah, you do look like you've been out hunting orcs or something. So it's been rough up in Wisconsin.
I got plenty of bear in the freezer now. Barehanded Dewey bear wrestling.
That is I've never had bear before, but I have had orca. So
I mean, I could visit you.
Which a lot of people are going to be like shocked by that, but in Washington, orca whale are still like hunted by the Makee, so they have a right to a certain number of whales, and so I have had orca before. That's something a lot of people are like, what? Yeah, it was in one of the grocery stores because it was sold by the Makee, and it's just like that's Free Willy.
We got salmon, we got pork, we got orca.
Yeah, Free Willy. It's only available, at least back when I was a kid, it was only available for like 1 month a year or something.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
like certain hunting seasons and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds reasonable.
Yep.
I live in like farming community. The thing, like we're in strawberry season.
Yeah, it's a pretty important thing for the Makee because it's like they have these big carved boats and such that they go out and hunt in, and like you can't become an adult until you kill a whale, at least according to traditional Makee. So not all. Now, granted, not all Makee still practice that, but it is a certain small group still do. So, yep.
Today we learn on the Steam Release Podcast about Makee and orcas.
Yeah. Anyhow, that's interesting. Salish. No, they're not Salish. They're like a different.
I've been back for a minute and already derailed this.
I have super derailed this. I'm sorry. I'm also on.
My job, man.
I'm also on like 50,000 units of vitamin D. So. Collect myself. Okay, what did we play? We're done with introductions. What did we play this week? Who wants to go first? Rhodey? Tom?
Are we gonna roll the...
Oh, that's right. Yes, I'm always forgetting. This first one is really easy for me to forget. I gotta like start putting a reminder. But yeah, what did we play this week?
I can go first. I mean, I already
go for it.
played a couple of things. So, I played and finished The Room 4. Old Sins.
Ooh, nice.
Spoke about it last week that I had gotten it and I just started it, but yeah, I played and completed it. It took me just under 7 hours.
Not bad.
There are no multiple endings in this one, which
that's
yeah, it is. I did feel like it was kind of like especially if they did it in a different way than number 3, because number 3 there was like the ending was kind of like it was too long when you went through it again, like certain bits were like just really annoying. But yeah, once I was like gotten into it and got into a rhythm of it, it was so good, and I felt like it was over too quickly. And this one felt like there was a like a coherent story, a very much a linear story throughout this. So it's a husband and wife. The husband's been ejected from this scientific community for his ideas, and he's found like these other people who are willing to sponsor him, and of course these people are nefarious and know all about the thing that he's investigating. They want him to investigate it. So and you're reading through both the husband and the wife's like journals and notes that they're writing either for themselves or writing notes to each other. And so you're hearing what's unfolded throughout and seeing how like the breakdown of their relationship because of what's going on and everything. So yeah, this is like quite multi-layered and it's a fascinating story. And the ending was superb. It wasn't like
Ooh, okay.
it wasn't like what the fuck is going on, which is usually the case with all the others. So yeah, very satisfying, and other than that, I was trying to get all my characters in Heartbeat up to level 99 so I can do the big fights, and we're gonna see how that goes. So yeah, I'm nearly finished Heartbeat, but I shall let you know when I've completely finished it.
All
and that's me. That's what I've been playing.
I'm curious with Old Sins. Do you think of the Room series, which is your favorite of the four?
So I really do like this one for its coherent story. It's not just like random things where you're just going from room to room and you're reading about somebody else's experience, but you have like no like emotional attachment to them. This one you kind of like go through some sort of emotional attachment because you are seeing snippets of like how the husband's become more and more unhinged, and he's actually taking it out on his wife as well, which is just like, oh my god, I hope she gets out of this horrible situation. What happened to her? I need to know what happened to her, so that was like really great thing. But I do feel like the puzzles were a lot easier than like any of the previous iterations. But I am conflicted on which one is the best one, because it's like, is the first one the best one for me because of the puzzles, because everything was brand new and everything, and it was just like a complete exploration into this.
But it was fairly short too.
Yeah, the first one.
The fourth one was. I
remember the first room also being fairly short.
I can't remember. I think with the first one, I did like go away, stop, like pause it, like or turn it off and like go away to think about it. Do something else, and then went to think about it. So maybe it was really short, but but so maybe the room 2 for its puzzles. But the fourth one is definitely for the story, and I hope they kind of continue on with what's happened in the room 4. I'm very curious.
Oh yeah, see if this specific story continues.
Exactly.
All right. What about you, Tom? What have you been playing recently?
Between
wrestling bears.
I last talked to you all, besides wrestling a bear named Dewey. I wish I could go get. I'm gonna fly down. I'm gonna get them all oiled up, and I'm wrestling a bear. We're gonna do this. Yep, already got him a shade of red. We're doing good today. That's like my 2 goals on the show. Derail and get Dewey red. That's my job here. But since I was away, I haven't played a ton of video games. I've been more on my board game side of life. I did play Resident Evil 8. I loved 8. It was so good. Made me feel really good. Or it made me feel almost how I did when I played Resident Evil 4 back in the day. Love that one. And yeah, Felix just reminded me, I recently played Her Majesty's Spiffing. That indie game that was okay.
I have my opinions about that game also.
Yeah, and
I kickstarted it. Help kickstart it.
I love the humor. The writing in it is fun and great, but the point and click adventure style of it is.
Oh my god, yeah,
it's rough. Because like there were some things like, oh cool, like you need this paperclip, and they made it look like Microsoft Clippy. This is kind of cool. Like it was just a fun little nod, but everything was, and I mean everything was like a tongue-in-cheek reference of some sort, and it didn't translate into the puzzles too well because it was just like, well, you need to get a frog out of a claw machine so you can kind of be racist towards the French. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was like, well, you need to distract them, so give them some stinky cheese and frogs. They like that.
That's like a thing about the French. It's like, what, like the boomer thing. That's like really old. Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just like, and how you got to that point didn't make a ton of sense. Like the puzzles very early on, and even the one like, if you didn't look at at the back of like one chair, you would have missed something that you needed. And it was like a tiny little spot. Like I don't like sometimes little hidden is okay, but make it like if they could have made the pamphlet on the back of the chair like stick out a little bit instead of like you need to root around on the back of a black chair with nothing sticking out like that.
Yeah, that I tripped up on that one too, and it was just like, oh come on! I really hate those puzzles where it's almost purposely trying to trip you up, and it's just like it's not clever or anything. It's not like making you something that you didn't like puzzle through or whatever. It's like, oh, it's just we made this maybe a bit too dark or something, and you just didn't think to look behind there. It's like you asshole.
I was also disappointed on how short it was too. Like I was expecting like a full stream day of it, and I had it done in like a little over an hour.
Oh, that's really short.
Yeah,
especially for $12. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I would only recommend watching a YouTube playthrough of it. That's as far of a recommendation I can give that game. Because as I said, the writing's good. I love the humor minus the old stereotypical stuff against the French later on, which we can kind of ignore. But the rest of it was just like, oh, that little bit was funny. That little bit was funny, but then the rest is frustrating.
Oh.
Yeah, it feels more like an introduction to a bigger game, and that just never happens. Never happened.
This was a demo for like a future series of this, it would make more sense. Or like for like a full release game, and not what this was. This $12 was for a demo.
Yep.
And that's how I feel. Did starting Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Stream that this week. I never played I attempted to play the original back in the day, but it was kind of tedious. So I rented it for that weekend. So it was like, nope, this I'm not gonna get through this. Never went back to it. So now with Legendary Edition, they cleaned some stuff up. The graphics, everything looked nicer. So I've been playing that. But otherwise it's been board game city.
Yeah.
I actually got to have my first in-person with friends board game session yesterday. It was therapy. Oh, it was therapy, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's mental states are going to improve a lot as they're able to like hang out in person with folks. So
fully vaccinated. And then the other things that y'all probably missed for me, I did stand-up comedy at Mall of America again.
Oh, awesome!
I did that. I got to perform up there. It was the day after I was fully vaccinated, like after the 2-week wait from the second shot, and we had a crowd of a couple hundred people. It was the most weird feeling thing in the world, walking up on stage and taking a mask off in front of a crowded room, just like, this is wrong.
Oh, so different.
I'm a fat boy stripper right now. Let me take it off for you. we had the option, and they told right away, like, if you want to leave it on, go for it, but it's going to be like you're going to be really hard to hear you.
Yeah.
Because it was like one of those like you have to eat the microphone style mics.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But and between they had to clean that thing between every performer.
It was that's really cool to be able to do that again. And I would like recount what my favorite joke of yours was, but I can't deliver them. So I would just say, guys, go on his YouTube channel. He's got some good jokes on there.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Sadly my opening line fell flat. Of we did I'm here to talk to you all about your car's extended warranties. We got you now, suckers. Lock the doors. And it fell completely flat on its face. I was like, oh, you guys don't get the scam calls I do, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, I found that funny because I get that call all the time, and I don't have a car, so I'm just like,
exactly. And then
you're calling the wrong person. Yeah.
They just sat there staring at me like, this is gonna be like the longest time of my life right now. This is gonna get real weird.
Not even a chuckle. Not even a.
No. It was dead crickets for that. Oof. And the follow up immediately was like, if y'all didn't laugh at that, this is gonna get a lot worse. Buckle up, everybody. that part actually got a chuckle. Okay. That part, like the fact that they're like, I recognize something failed, and then just kind of blew through it. They took that part in stride, but it was a really weird crowd.
Yeah. Everyone's probably uncomfortable too. It's been a while.
It was mostly a group of people who were there to see one person, and these were all like age-wise 45 plus, account executive types that did not want to be at a comedy show. Even when like the person they were there to support went up, not a single noise was made by any of them.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's creepy.
I was sitting next to her boss, like directly next to her, and when she got done, it's like, well, bless her heart for trying. Like, that was cold.
Bless her heart for trying.
Wow.
That's the most savage thing someone can say in the South about someone. Holy crap.
No, you know the worst thing that you could hear on stage, and I heard this too, was the phrase, "Oh, that's cute." No, heard 2 times. You never want to hear the phrase "that's cute." 1, telling jokes. 2 is right before sex. Oh, that's cute.
Oh no.
You're welcome.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Oh,
all right.
Everybody, derailed again. We're at 2. Hey, Dewey, you were excited for what you played this week. So Dewey, my friend, what did you play this week?
I still am quite excited. I played a short hike.
Yay!
And it did not take me as short of a time as a lot of people. A lot of people are like, oh, I finished it in an hour or whatever. I played this game for like 5 hours.
No, I was the same, yeah.
Yeah, because there is, yes, if you like really follow the dialogue and go like, okay, just mainline it, yeah, you can finish it very, very quickly. But you know what? I was happy to spend the 5 hours I spent in it, and I kind of wish it didn't end where it did. Just because it was a good ending and all that. But the world of this game, I feel like there's so much more that was left to find, because there's like 2 main islands and there's a bunch of smaller islands, and there's all these interesting characters that all have these little hints of like, oh, I need my hairband, or oh, I need this, or I need that. And it's just such a pretty. The sound design is fantastic. The world is beautiful. I love that you can go into a graveyard and use a shovel and bones come up. And I was just like, oh my word. Because you can use the shovel anywhere. You'll get a bunch of tools that you can use anywhere. And it's just... They're just like, oh,
yeah, it's so good. It is so good, and there are all these like you said, these little mini games that you can do. Like, did you do the volleyball thing?
Yes, that was fun. I played a few games of volleyball. Did you do the obstacle course on the boat?
I don't think I did. I didn't do that one. No, I did try to do the marathon thing, like running against that guy, and I was like, no, I crashed into this. Damn it, that would have.
I could not figure out how to get in the marathon. That was my thing. I couldn't figure out how to do that. I wanted to, but I just didn't find the right thing. I did find an illegal camper. There's just all these little things that you can find, and I feel everyone who plays this game comes away with a different experience, even though it's not a very big world. It's a pretty small world, but it's so beautiful. The like emotional points. For some reason, there's emotional points in this game. I feel like when you look at it, you feel like it wouldn't be, but then it just like it hits just right, and it's like, oh, that's why. I think the character's Claire, so I think it's that's why she wanted to get the phone call. And when that happens, it's like, oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it is. Leaves it like so nicely. I love it, and I think Sincerely Day, I think she did she might have 100%ed it.
Wow.
So I watched her play it, and it was she was doing the treasure hunt thing, and she was struggling to find the right spot, and we had to say no. We were like, no, not that. Oh, you got it. No, you moved. Why did you move? Look, here's a screenshot. That's where you got to dig it. And I mean, she was like getting frustrated with like all of us, like, oh no, you did it wrong. No, you go back. It's lots of fun. It's lots of fun, like watching someone like play it as well.
Mm-hmm.
You mean the boat thingy where he's on that fishing boat?
No, you're on the little motorboat.
I don't remember. Probably not.
Yeah, if you rent the motorboat, you can go super fast on that thing. By the way, it's really fun. But it's just such a beautiful game. You gotta try it. It's and the platforming was really good. The gliding, the platforming. Like, I am really excited for whatever Adam G. Ryu's next game is. Actually, I think I looked it up, and it's like something about a dog. So like the next game has something to do with a dog. No screenshots or anything, but I'm very much looking forward to it.
Oh, the dog.
No, it's not about a dog. It's about have you played Paper Mario? It's like a paper RPG. So it's like a paper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. A paper RPG is the next game.
About a dog?
I think there's a dog character. I think the main character is a crocodile, though.
I'm gonna be so sad if there's not a dog now.
There's definitely there is definitely a dog.
With a dog. Don't lie to me, Dewey.
There is definitely a dog, but I think the main character is a crocodile. But you form a team, and there is a dog, and I definitely remember there being a dog. But yeah, it's a paper RPG. So that's what they're working on next. So they're going. The developer Adam did this this one form of retro, and now he's doing another form of retro, and that's quite cool. Just moving forward like 5 years in graphics. So it's just very, very cool. I'm excited. And with that,
yeah, sorry, anyone who's watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell.
And let us know
what you've been playing this week.
Exactly. Yes. Tom was reading my mind. Let us know what you've been reading. Before we get to our release list, though, we have a little bit of catch-up. We're going to finish off August, I think. This is the last August 31st games?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So, finishing up August, we have, starting with Radical Relocation.
Radical Relocation is an absurd physics-based puzzle game that turns a sleepy neighborhood into an insane obstacle course. You'll need flawless planning and nerves of steel to get your belongings from A to B while they're stacked and balanced on the roof of your moving vehicle.
Oh, this is anxiety. Holy crap.
This just looks ridiculous fun. Like, I'm getting very much vibes from Totally Reliable Delivery Service. Mm-hmm. But maybe without like the QWOP style movement.
Yeah.
Because in that one you had like your little blob, almost like clay figure that you had to move, and your arms worked independently to try to grab and move stuff. And this is all like magnetized-ish to a car, or like stacking on. Yeah, someone like claw machine the game and then driving around with different vehicles. It looks ridiculous funny.
This is something I would really enjoy watching someone play. But playing it myself, I would be so frustrated, and I would just fail. Just fail miserably.
Yeah, this looks like a Schadenfreude game, honestly.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't just single player though.
Oh,
multiple people, like multiple vehicles going around and having fun in this looks like it'd be a blast.
Yeah.
But it is single player only, which has me a little disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that would be really fun multiplayer of this. It is a Unity. I kind of want to see if they have got a roadmap. But they do have it has that Unity low poly design, but it has a bit of its own unique look, so I appreciate that. I don't see any. They did announce that they're going to have new vehicles, but I don't see anything like a roadmap about like, oh hey, we're going to do multiplayer eventually. So I don't see that.
Yeah, their last update February, and then a regular update. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on that and I understand you're trying to like move everything, having multiple vehicles do that, but I don't know if there's like a free roam mode or something that you could do with multiple people. I think that would serve really well in this.
Yeah. It is rated mostly positive with 118 reviews, and it costs $10 USD.
$7.99 UK.
I was looking at the reviews, and it looks like it's about 10 hours long, roughly. And let me see. I do want to see what does the negative review have to say. Okay, some folks are saying really laggy, which I don't think they mean laggy. I think maybe like frame drops. Frustrated with unrealistic physics. I mean, you're signing up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they expected.
Okay, I'm not seeing like it's so buggy. So there may be issues with some frame drops, or perhaps they just didn't have the computer for it. But yeah, it looks fun. It's developed by Winglet, which is a small studio. I believe when I looked it up, it's like 2 or 3. It's a pretty small studio. Devs from Auckland, New Zealand. Next up is Greyhat. No, wait,
wrong
one. Greyhat, a digital detective adventure. There we go.
You sure? You good?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, okay. How far would you go to save your daughter? As an infamous hacker for hire, you have the skills to steal almost any secret, but not Dewey's heart. But when your daughter is taken, will you be able to use these skills to uncover a dark conspiracy that goes further than you could ever imagine? Not starring Liam Neeson.
Yeah, is this the plot of Watch Dogs?
Yeah.
No, wait. And I think in Watch Dogs, his daughter's dead. I think so. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
I haven't played in forever.
And he's getting revenge. That's basically the thing. Well, this one he's trying to save his daughter. Okay, interesting.
It kind of has Welcome to the Game style vibes, but maybe without the jump scare portion. But all of like the slightly enhanced photos that they're using for stuff kind of look awful.
Yeah, there's definitely some bits in there that look like, why did you choose to do it like that? Like there's one screenshot where there's it's like mannequins or zombies or something like that.
No, it looks awful.
Yeah.
Like there's somewhere it's just computer screen, so it's not that hard to do right. But the one with the zombie screen, and even the one that I'm looking at with like the automated air traffic control system, I'm just looking at that going, it might be slightly realistic in sense, but as a game, it looks just ugh.
Yeah, they definitely should have gotten an artist or fired the art, or if they did get an artist, fired that one and got a different one.
Yeah. Or another shot where they have like a shell game. Yeah, the Cat Coin Casino, and it's a shell game where it's like, we're gonna just put a black outline over everything in this, and it just, I don't know. Hopefully the point and click style, the if the mystery part is good, and seeing very positive reviews, the gameplay side must be lifting this up, because visually I'm having a fit.
Yeah, it is standing at 96% very positive with 79 user reviews, and there's also a free prologue as well.
And that's probably what's helped keep the reviews high as well, is that people are able to jump in and see what it's like before they play it.
Yeah.
So that's good going there, and then it looks like it's found its audience.
Yeah, there's an estimated playtime of 10 to 15 hours.
Not bad.
Yeah, the reviews seem to match up to that roughly. So yeah, that's and I like it when they include their expected playtime, especially when it's accurate.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's developed by Limited Games, which when your studio is named Limited Games, it's really hard to find you on the internet.
Let's take common names and mush them together.
Just gonna say that. Anyhow,
welcome to the John Smith podcast.
Our final.
It is £9.29.
Yes,
$11.99 US.
Our final catch-up game is Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
We are now only talking about this game for the rest of the day. I don't care. Oh, this is childhood nostalgia. Carmen Sandiego is up to her thieving hijinks again. While children travel the globe to track her down, they learn about geography, history, and world cultures. Because when there's a criminal, you send the kids.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm actually, so I was looking at the reviews and such, and this seems to be the 2001 game, like remastered or something. Because
I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because all the facts and stuff are also set for 2001. So your kids get both a history and a geography lesson because it's all like relevant questions to 2001. So.
Ooh, interesting.
Or 2000.
Yeah. I never played any of the Carmen Sandiego games. But we had the Carmen Sandiego cartoon. So it was just like, I love the cartoons, but yeah.
See, I never watched the cartoon. I watched the game show back in the day. Where they had like a full PBS, it was on PBS, a full game show. And it was like, yeah, they would do like all like history style questions. The show was history and geography questions. Yeah. And it was ridiculous amounts of fun. Mm-hmm. I'll have to send you a clip of the old show.
I think the game show was the origin of it as well. I think it was the game show, then the video games, then the TV shows.
Started video game first.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Then over to that. I just recently watched like the history of Carmen Sandiego.
Oh, nice.
Because I also learned the game show had a spin-off of Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego, but it didn't have that iconic like the song in the beginning by the a cappella group. Because that thing in the beginning of like the Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? I have that in my head so much. we should be talking about the game. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, it brings back the classical gameplay that a lot of like 2000s like grade schoolers would recognize. It's for adults. Some of the questions may be really easy if you did well in your geography. I know a lot of adults who wouldn't do well with these questions, but it's made for ages 8 to 12. But I think folks looking for that hit of nostalgia that are older might still enjoy it. So. Yeah,
they do a good job of not. At least the original games did really good about not dumbing things down. Mm-hmm. Like you actually felt kind of smart playing it, and it was something that I remember my dad playing with me. And like he had fun with it too, and it wasn't just me. He got into it, so it was good at my level. It was good at his level. This obviously, with this being from like 2000, 2001, I don't know how they held up over the years. Because for me, I played it in the 90s, so everything I'm seeing looks like they're held pretty true.
I remember it being very difficult as a kid. I do remember it being very difficult, but. Like at least it was more difficult than like the Jumpstart games. Did anyone play Jumpstart?
Yeah,
Jumpstart first, second, third grade, fourth grade. Yeah, there's a whole series of Jumpstart that went all the way up to. Well, the series kind of gets rebranded at the higher grades to be more attractive to older kids, I guess. Like after like 7th or 8th grade, it gets rebranded. And of course, all the characters become far less cartoony as you go up the grades. But and then there's just like the top high school ones are more. Those are difficult. Like there's a haunted house one. Yeah, that one's a really difficult one. I think that's 10th grade actually, and it's algebra.
Well, I might. I put this on my wish list because I do kind of. I have watched Nate the Not Great play the original series of games. I've like caught bits here and there, so I'm curious of how this remake it's gonna play. And it's £7.19, and it's currently standing at 77% with 35 user reviews.
Yep, that is $9.99 USD. So coming up are our release list, starting with Monday, June 7th, with Best Day Ever.
You mean today, as I get to sit here with my friends?
Oh.
Play 4 characters, live their unique stories, and manage their daily lives to create their best day ever. In this narrative game, your decisions have consequences and change the outcome of the stories.
Yeah, so this one, first of all, I do like the art style. It's got, it's an art style that's gonna look nice, but it's not too difficult to execute properly. So it was probably a good idea for a team that's on a smaller budget.
So the 4 characters, so endearing characters. So Emma Nadja, manager in the food company Cracker. Emma provides quality food and doesn't count her hours. However, she regularly receives sexist remarks from some of her peers and can no longer stand it. Jordan Neal. Jordan is a key player in the Waters University basketball team. The team has qualified for the big university tournament, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the team members. His partner feels this is the perfect opportunity for Jordan to finally introduce him to his teammates. Jenny, as a student at the prestigious Waters University, Jenny has always had good grades. However, a few weeks before her midterms, she can no longer focus on her studies and is anxious about getting to class. Paul Hittick. Paul is one of 5 candidates in the Waters mayoral election. He is aware that his city is the place of many injustices and intends to defend his candidacy to change things on a large scale.
So apparently these 4 different storylines also do, if you make the right choices, you can end up connecting all 4 of them as well.
Oh,
so
nice.
into a single narrative if you make certain choices, but there is like a heavily branching narrative in this game. So when I was looking it up,
yeah, it's something that I find quite interesting. So I'm going to put it on my wish list because it kind of reminds me of that other game that I played, although it's got like completely different mechanics. The photographs, there's the watching all these lives play out, and like there's a bad decision that's being made, and at the end you get to decide who relives their lives differently to make things better. Mm-hmm. And in one of the people that I picked, because I picked the newspaper guy, you get to see everybody's lives who you didn't pick, and like what happened to them, and you're reporting on it. So yeah, it's really interesting. So that's kind of like how it reminds me of it. But this is 10% off, and it's £10.25. We don't currently have enough user reviews though.
Oh yeah.
2.
And there are it's developed by Rerolled Studio, which is a small team from Lyon, France. Next up, and it's $13.49 USD. But yeah, so next up is Blue Rabbit.
You find yourself in a futuristic dystopian city. You get the idea. Dark smog, rogue AI, corporate drones, actual drones, the whole enchilada. In this fast-paced 2D platformer, you play as Arisu, a runner tasked to deliver the ambiguous Blue Rabbit packages around the city.
The I love Mirror's Edge developer, sort of. I just get the feeling that the developer really liked Mirror's Edge, and they wanted to make a 2D version. That said, it does have a neat aesthetic. I like the movement animations of the characters, and the backgrounds in particular look quite nice.
There's times I'm kind of getting lost of what she can interact and what she can't a little bit, but kind of it comes with the genre a little bit at times. But otherwise, like, yeah, all the textures and everything, it looks good.
Yeah, it does.
There's a few little animations here and there that I'm a little leaning like, ugh. Especially like there's the like it'd be like the zip line coming down. That animation looks a little rough. But if I'm starting to nitpick a few things, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
The only gripe that I have really is the backgrounds that you're on. They sort of samey, like you see the buildings, and you've got like just the windows, and they all look the same. It's like you've like mixed it up a little bit, because the background to that looks really interesting, all these neon cities and everything, and instead it's like you've got this sort of these green ugly like window shutters.
Yeah. At the same time, if you add too much, the platforming clarity would be a little harder to do.
Yeah, no, it's just like, just make those buildings.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think having it set in a city, whereas like a sort of more fantastical platformers like Mario, you can put platforms everywhere. You don't have to follow the rules of physics or city design or anything. Yeah. Whereas with it being set in a city that's supposed to be kind of realistic, you're kind of stuck with columns. And they could have definitely done some more interesting shaped roofs, or interesting, like each building having different windows designs. But then you end up with a great deal of more work, and I don't know if this developer had that time or capability.
And for a game that's $5, everything else looks good, and we're splitting hairs over a little bit of artwork.
Yeah.
Like, needless to say, I'm still kind of impressed with how this game looks, especially for the price point. The only thing that usually we always bring up a lot is how long the game actually is.
Yeah, as I said, here it's like £3.59. It's 10% off. We don't. There's one review, but I can't see it. And let me bring it.
Yeah, there's a review in Korean that's negative, but
it's 20 minutes. So they only got 20 minutes and decided to put it down. So yeah, there's just not enough information, unfortunately.
No, not enough information. It's developed by JP Van Osta, and this is JP's first game on Steam. Next up, Tuesday, June 8th, the long-awaited Backbone has released. It's out.
Eventually I'll be able to read it. I just gotta get past the age gate. Oh my god, am I old enough? According to my back, I really am. And same with my knees. But Backbone is a post-noir role-playing detective adventure. Become Raccoon Private Eye Howard Lotor as you interrogate a diverse cast of characters, collect evidence, and explore dystopian Vancouver, BC, inhabited by animals. We got a raccoon protagonist back.
Yeah.
Yes. Both me and G have been looking forward to this game coming out. And I think, you also played the prologue as well, Dewey.
No, I didn't want to play the prologue yet because I didn't want to get spoiled. So I just wanted to play it all at once.
Oh, right. So yeah, I did play it, and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. There was some great puzzles in there. You could like certain puzzles you could do in different ways. So like you had to get into somewhere, and there were different ways that you could do that. So that was very interesting. And there were also a few there were some stealth elements in there which I didn't like so much, and I wish they had, for those of us that don't usually play stealth games, I wish that they had a way to like transition into to make that kind of like intuitive, like say, maybe I can get past this guy if I hide behind those furniture. I just got to time it right or something. If he just like, you know, just had a throwaway line like that, it'd make it kind of like easier on what you could do. And I actually got to speak to one of the devs at like EGX Resd, and I spoke about this to her, and she said, yeah, you know, we're like, you know, we got feedback from a lot of people saying, you know, people that were into point and click games, they went into the stealth because it wasn't like intuitive for them, but those people that were into sort of action kind of stealth games, the puzzles was very difficult for them as well. And I was thinking, wow, really? Because the puzzles were like super easy. At least I found so anyway. But also the dialogue trees.
We're not all as smart as you, Rhodey.
No, I'm not that smart. I'm not that smart.
You smart. You smart. I smooth brain. I smooth brain.
But yeah, it was pretty interesting. I guess the dialogue trees as well. Some people didn't like those kind of things because it wasn't like you could go through each line to see which one was hitting the right one, so to get you through a certain thing, it's like once you pick the wrong one, that was it. You know, you're done here. So I was very curious to see what people thought of now that the game has been released and what issues they've had and how they smoothed those issues out. But a lot of people don't like the game now because they had played the prologue and were expecting for it to just be like this detective noir game. And like apparently by the second or third act, it just goes completely off the rails. So
it is,
which is not good. It's not good. It's not good way to see a game.
Yeah, it's got 58% out of 502 reviews.
That's so bad. So bad.
And most everyone was saying that they came in from playing the prologue before and then gave it the thumbs down after. It's like, we love the prologue and it went downhill. Like, oh no.
It's saying there were no like puzzles past a certain point. It just plays like a visual novel.
Yeah.
As well. And then of course it just doesn't, the story goes off completely different rails. It doesn't go in the trajectory that you kind of expecting it to go to, but no, it's just gone like completely forget about what you've been playing before. So which is a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah. There's a lot of people there are people who liked it who are praising the story, and they do kind of go into it like, I had to just realize that this was a visual novel and that I could enjoy it more. And then of course the people who played the prologue are like, but all the sort of detail and like gameplay and really like careful, tight design was in the prologue. And you know, now I'm in the main game. After you get past the first or second act, a lot of things become more simple. It becomes much more streamlined, and there's not all this like multiple ways to solve things anymore. So
because they ran out of money, I'm imagining.
Yeah, I think that was probably the case, and so a lot of people are like, this feels a little bit half-baked when you get to the later parts. But if you view it like it's a visual novel and then it's not supposed to have a branching narrative, folks who take it that way do seem to really like it. So it is really disappointing, but I am still looking forward to playing it and seeing what it's like. I'm just glad that I have my expectations tempered. So yeah.
I'm glad I didn't kickstart this because I would be like bitterly disappointed. Whereas now I'm like, oh, okay, it's going to be like this. And it is a shame it's not like more of that point and click and all these great narratives and puzzles like towards the end, and it's just kind of like a visual novel. That is a real shame because the prologue is just so great. It's just so fantastic.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a shame because the prologue is now not really representative of what the game is like, which is not what a demo should do. A demo should be representative of what the game is like. Speaking of like the game as well, the price is $22.50, and it looks like the game is about 6 hours long at most.
And that's on sale too.
Yeah, it's on sale.
Yeah,
10% off.
10% off right now at $17.99, and it's just like, I'm gonna wait for a big sale.
Yeah. If it gets 50% off, I'll probably pick it up. I'm fine with paying $12. I'm fine with paying $12 for 6 hours. I am really curious about how it goes off the rails, because apparently, like, people are going like, yeah, this was some really weird. It got like very strange. But they still enjoyed it, of the ones who got into it, and I'm like, okay, I'm down for strange. We're already playing animals in Vancouver, so I'm down for a strange plot line. But the studio is made up is Eggnut Games, and they are actually a fully remote studio. So they have a team in Canada, Russia, USA, and Netherlands. They might have an office in Canada or something, but their team is all over the world. And they were founded in 2017. So they've only been around for 4 years, and they have a game out. I have to give them at least some credit for that, and not like having this be in development hell forever. But I imagine a lot of these devs, like, we need something on our record. We need something that we've made. But I hope this either gets repaired, or eventually they're able to make a second game and maybe redeem themselves in a future entry. So, yeah, and that's Backbone. My thoughts. Tom, did you have any more thoughts? No.
No, I'm just sitting here just agreeing with everything y'all are saying. And
it hurts me so much because I was so excited for this game.
It visually looks good. Seeing just, and I've been sitting here scrolling through the comments, and it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah. No, it's just
animals in Vancouver is just normal doing. Yes, I'm sure, but they're normally not wearing suits. But
penguins are.
Yeah, penguins are. Such pain. Anyhow, our next up is Fuzz Force Spook Squad.
Roll into a dicey deck builder set in a spooky board game world. Capture Ghost as the elite Spook Squad using their customizable dice-powered weaponry. Navigate eerie areas filled with battles, treasure, and random events on your mission to capture the ghoulish Polter Prince. I went slightly dyslexic, and I thought I was going to be like a Pulitzer Prize is how I almost read that.
It's like, what is this word? So it's basically Ghostbusters but furry, from what I can tell. Really cute looking, and I like how it's sort of, you're playing it on a board game, witness, it's a board dice game. Just really like the aesthetic here.
As your resident board game expert here, I'm gonna happily quickly weigh in, and it feels like the dice portion of this, and even the looks of the dice, 100% look ripped off from a board game called Too Many Bones.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna throw this in our chat here. Wait, did I lose chat again? Why does Twitch keep closing for me? I'll throw the link in our chat here, and that'll take you to image of Too Many Bones, like their dice, how stuff is used, and this very much feels like a very different version. Because
it's not exact, but it does seem like at least a little similar.
And even like looking at how the dice are allocated into like the slots for everything, it's like, man, this feels like heavily Too Many Bones inspired.
Mm-hmm.
Not a one-to-one rip-off, except for maybe the dice artwork a little bit looks a little ripped off.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you can only do so much with numbers and iconography.
Yeah.
But it still looks like it plays differently enough on its own, and I'd love to see Too Many Bones as a digital adaptation anyway. So I'm definitely kind of a fan of this. The animations are cute. It's like seeing some of the battles. Like there's like the little ghost, and it's still like on a stand with a little peg coming up into it. So it's like a board game piece, but it's still like they have it rocking back and forth. It's so cute in its own way. that I'm kind of all for this.
Mm-hmm.
Is it gonna go on your wish list?
Probably.
Ooh.
I've been very, very selective of my wish list anymore. I got my wish list under 20, so it's very rare for me to add now.
I need to go on a purge to my wish list again, but I've got like almost 200 on there. I'm just like, oh wow, only 20. That would be nice.
I mean, I've got mine up to 336. It's like, I feel like if I get rid of something, like I'll lose like maybe a game that I had like maybe an inkling for on maybe a certain day. It's like, oh yeah, I could get this. So no, I'm gonna keep those.
Sometimes you're just in the mood.
It's like if you take off a wish list, a dev's gonna starve or something. It's like, no.
Yeah.
So it is known, like, due to the whole fiasco with, like, hey, you're whatever, like, your top 3 in your wish list is, we're going to give you you're gonna have a chance to win it. Remember that one? Yeah, that was that thing.
I remember that.
And so everyone was deleting all their wish list down to just 3.
I want to say that's probably why, like, the first time I purged my list, it was something for that.
Yeah. I didn't purge my list. I just resorted it because I actually read what the announcement was. But
read?
But
what is read?
I just put the most expensive thing.
But I did see on Reddit. I did see on Reddit, and a lot of other communities were like, "Yeah, you got to delete all your." I don't know where that started, but it was like pretty widely spread, and it was just like. No, that's not what the announcement said. If you read it, but most people were just getting their news from secondhand from other people, whatever. And so everyone was like deleting, and of course, people who that's when I found out that developers do have metrics about how many people have wishlist their games. And so when they saw all their wish lists, like all their wish list games just vanishing, like all their wish list counts, it's like,
which hurt them big time. And it's still one of those. I'm like, I've had so many games sitting on here for the longest time that I'm like, I don't think like, and especially if they've popped up on sale and I've let it go, it's like odds are I'm not gonna pick you up.
Yeah. Fuzz Force.
Yep, it's 10% off right now at £10.25, and it's standing out positive with 92% positive with 14 user reviews.
$13.49 USD. And since it's like a board game, I am kind of... It's only single player, so I'm almost... missed opportunity there. So I hope if the team ends up getting more money eventually, they can do a multiplayer version. Especially with a name...
It looks like it's a co-op anyway. Like it'd be a co-op style board game where you're all kind of exploring through an area, building your own boards. Like I don't see how it couldn't be, but I haven't played the game yet to find out where they might be holding themselves up.
Yep. So I do, but I don't see anything about them doing multiplayer. But hopefully. Next up is the long-awaited Edge of Eternity, at least for me. Yep.
Wage epic turn-based battles as you follow Darian and Celine on their quest to find a cure to the all-consuming corrosion in this grand tale of hope and sacrifice.
I appreciate that it's not corruption; it's corrosion. They're being a little bit creative on the
I had to slow myself up because it was like I got to it and go, oh, that's not what it normally is. How dare you change the formula?
So this one, I remember seeing this way back. I think it started like in 2014 when we got the first inklings of this game. And like a lot of people were like, "Oh, this looks so good. This looks like and back then they're like, this looks like a next-gen Final Fantasy." Looking at it now, it's just like, okay, this is good 3D art, but it's clearly like not a huge budget 3D art. I do think it's quite impressive. They've captured that sort of Final Fantasy look quite well.
There's a giant cat mount.
There is a giant cat mount.
Yeah. That alone is maybe sold me.
And the cat's going.
So
it's such a good picture.
Yeah, they've been releasing chapter by chapter for many years now. So it's been gradual. So there have been people that have been playing it as it gets updated, And now it's finished, and it's mostly positive at 79%, with almost 2,000 reviews. Recent since launch, it's only 67% with 167 reviews. The notes that I've seen is a lot of people who, of course, jumped in. They waited to get in on it until it's fully out. There's been complaints about the combat. There's the system. But overall, they're like, no, I didn't really like this. And I think that can happen when you have a game that's been in development for so long and has had people actively playing it for so long. The people who like it are, of course, like, yep, I'm fine with this. This is fine. I'm enjoying it. They're kind of they've drunk the Kool-Aid, not in a negative way. I'm saying that, but they've kind of they've accepted the premise of the game, and now it's sort of meeting the general audience. And unfortunately, it's gotten a little bit of a hit. So
the nice thing I'm running into, and the devs are doing a broadcast play of it right now, and they're even doing like responses to some of the criticism down in the reviews down below of like, ooh, yeah, like there was one here talking about like the fog, like it's like, oh, they just cranked the gamma way up and now I can hardly see through, and it's kind of ruining my enjoyment. And developers like, these are a couple things that we are working on, hopefully for the next patch. It's like, oh, good. You are reading through the problems and addressing. Like, good for you guys.
Yeah, they didn't just kick it out, and they're not just going to stop supporting it. These devs have been supporting this game for many years, in its incomplete form, and now that it is in the 1.0 launch version, they want to make sure that it has that is properly finished. So I do appreciate that. So I am glad that because like this top review, like they've like slashed out some things that are no longer applicable. So that's nice to see. That's nice to see that they're like, oh, cool, this has been addressed.
And even with the developer responding, some of it has been like, we're gonna work on those and not getting into specifics. But then it was like, oh, the nightmare balancing and the bugs for short term. And we'll work on the other feedbacks in the next months. It's like you can kind of start seeing the roadmap building in the comments alone of what they're going to try to work on now as more people are experiencing the game for the first time.
Of course, when I play through this, I will not be playing in Nightmare mode. I just want to see the story, because I've kept hearing from people that the story is very good. I'm finally glad that I get to play this. What I think is fascinating is this is a French developed game. This game is developed by folks, Midgar Studio in Nîmes, France, and it looks like it was a Japanese developer that did this.
Yeah,
like they've captured that look so perfectly. And it's like, nah, you're just a bunch of French weebs, but I love it. It's so well done. Oh my word, so well done.
It is 15% off right now at £20.22. So I'm quite like these kind of RPGs, these sort of turn-based combat. So I might put it on my wish list. So, but yeah, I definitely won't pick it up until all these issues have been sorted out for sure.
I will probably pick it up when I just have the time to, I guess. Because I am right now in the middle of a few RPGs, kind of longer RPGs. I feel like I need to finish those first before I jump into another one. But I will be picking up Edge of Eternity.
I'm seeing another RPG right now, but if you can stay around and play your cards right.
I've got a real harem, so yeah.
I really need to. I really need to finish Heartbeat. I want to 100% it. I want to 100% that game, and then I can start another one. I've spent like 70 hours into it.
But yeah, minus the cat mount, there's nothing really drawing me to the game. So it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I'm a Final Fantasy weeb, so it's just like, I want it so bad. Yeah, I want it so bad. Which is, of course, the Squeenix thing is going on right now. The Squeenix E3 thing, but I'll watch it later.
Hey, they announced Final Fantasy 16.
No, they did that a long time ago. I'm sure they have a new trailer though, and I really want to see it.
Oh yeah, no, that's what it is. It's about the trailer that they just put out.
Okay. Let's talk about what the
Okay. Next up, we gotta get done so we can go watch Screen X. Anyhow, the Tram of Wishes is next for Tuesday.
The meditative journey game about a tram driver. He is a sincere but a humble dreamer who loves his job. He also knows how to show love and sensitivity, like reading other people's desires. What to do about it?
I like these kind of games. They're just like, because it is supposed to be kind of like a nice relaxing kind of game, and like I gravitate towards those kind of games. And it's about 10 to 15 minutes as well. It is a short game, but it also is like non-linear as well. So I love the artwork. Love the artwork.
And it's free.
It is free. That it is.
It is. Yeah. If for 10, 15 minutes, I'm happy it's free. It reminds me of like the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood Trolley that it would go to the land of make-believe.
Mr. Rogers Neighborhood. I miss that so much.
Oh.
That was a part of my childhood. Yeah.
This episode is nostalgia train, and I'm totally cool with it.
I guess like just people our age are just making games now, and so little things from their childhood are
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it is standing at 100% positive with 23 user reviews.
Yep.
But what were you going to say, Tom?
It was slightly derailing, so I will continue.
Derailing, I get it. Tram. Okay. Next Wednesday.
I was proud of that one.
June 9th is Rise Eterna.
This is where I would talk about it, but I didn't type it in the first place. It's the Rise Eterna song. It's got mixed reviews, and we clicked into it and it's loaded. Hey, Rise Eterna. Follow the story of Lua and unveil the mystery surrounding her origins in the tactical RPG. Reminisce of the 16-bit era Japanese strategy games. Recruit up to 14 characters with unique abilities and defeat your worst nightmare in epic fights.
So
I would have to fight not having Dewey in my life?
Yeah.
In an epic fight?
I just find the map things like just really ugly. Like, because you've got these nice like character designs when you've got that portrait of all the characters that you've unlocked and everything. And then you've got like the fight scenes and the map, and it's just like, this is ugly.
Yeah, the map and some of the menus are just kind of okay looking. The map is, and then like the sort of grid system, I don't think looks very well. The actual battle, like when it's like just this is attacking this, that looks good. And yeah, the portraits all look good, but. It's mixed, and I was looking at the reviews, and apparently it's not very well localized because I think this is developed in Poland, so some of the English dialogue just doesn't make much sense. So there's some of that. It's but it just really stood out aesthetically to me, and it's an RPG, so it's going on my wish list.
Wow, really? It's one of those. I didn't think, just with how this looked and the reviews and the price point, I didn't think you were gonna wish list this one.
Yep, yeah, it is $17.99. That said, I'm pretty sure it's not a very long game. I'm seeing like 7 hours and such, so I'd be waiting until it's on sale. But
yeah, it is 10% off right now at £13.94, and standing at mixed, as Tom said, with 41%. With 46 edition. User reviews.
Yikes! Ooh.
So bad.
So you sure you want to wish list this? Huh?
I will pick it up if it gets a patch. So I'm gonna.
That's fair. Let's give them a chance to fix this.
If it gets a patch, I will pick it up. Otherwise, in like 6 months' time or whatever, if nothing's changed with it, I'm probably gonna remove it from my wish list.
There are other colors besides brown. Is the only thing I want to tell the devs.
Yeah, exactly.
There are more colors out there.
Mm. They could have, especially with how the characters are designed, they really could have gone with a more vivid palette.
They really could have.
Don't know why. So yeah, there are things about this game I do like because it's just the type of game that I enjoy. But it's mixed.
I think trying to balance 14 characters as well would drive me a little nuts.
Yeah,
like and I mean it's one of those like some people may like it, some people like me. I'm like if there's like a deep progression system with each of them, like even me playing Mass Effect right now, like I leveled up. I now have to level up everybody on the squad. It's going to take a while.
Oh.
So I can't imagine it with 14.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that is Rise Eterna. It is $17.99 USD, and of course with 41%, as we mentioned. Next up is The Corruption Within.
It is a psychological thriller first-person point-and-click adventure game set in the Victorian era with an emphasis on strong narrative, intriguing characters, and puzzle solving.
So this is another game by Dave Seaman, who also made Captain Disaster in Death Has a Million Stuff. Well, that's a ridiculously long title. So Captain Disaster and as well as the Captain Disaster series, Ancient Art of Staying Alive. And they're all kind of in this really old school pixel art look. Yeah, and of course by Cosmic Void.
It looks so muddy. It's like there's one thing, to have that kind of old style look to something, but there is like a better way to do it because this just looks like
it's like 80s NES color palette.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I've seen better.
Yeah, and it's also 2021. Like you can spice it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is of course a playable demo, which is a good thing so that way you can try before you buy. But it is sitting at mostly positive at 91%. But let me see.
With 12 user reviews. I mean, if you like those old point and click games, this one reminds me of Colonel's Bequest, but Colonel's Bequest, even with their old school graphics, look better. I'm sorry, even with the palette that they used, that one looks better. This just looks too muddy for me. But yeah, this story has to really be something, I feel. And yeah, it's 10% off right now at £6.47. And yeah, I'm seeing like 4 to 7 hours. We're actually seeing quite a few different playtimes on this. I don't know whether some people have completed it though, because I'm seeing anything from like 3 to 7 hours.
I saw the two negative reviews. One of them is like amazing game, suspenseful story, incredible art, probably the best retro survival game. Negative review.
What?
2.7. So I wonder if that's a misclick.
Yeah, because
it almost seems like a robo review.
Yeah, it does.
It says survival game, the best retro survival game. This isn't a survival game. This is a point and click kind of mystery.
Yeah, it's not even tagged with survival, so that's odd. The other negative review is in Russian, but they're basically complaining, or at least the part that they had a little bit in English. They're complaining that they know English, but if you're not super fluent in English, there's just like points in this game that you can easily get lost. Like there's a hint in the text, and as a non-native speaker, it was like, what am I supposed to do now? So yeah, and so they're like, could you get like a Russian localization or something, or something? Because like how it is now, the hint was in the sentence, but it's just like I don't get it because it's like it's more advanced English.
I don't.
And it is marked on the game that it is English interface, English subtitles, so it's can we fault the game itself for
I don't think
not...
necessarily. I do like it when advanced English is used in games and such.
Yeah.
But, I mean... I think there are a lot of point-and-click players who aren't, like, native English speakers, who can still play most point-and-click games, but when the English gets really high level, it's just like, what? What's happening?
Yeah.
So,
I'm a native speaker, and I don't do well with high-level English.
So again, both negative reviews don't seem really negatives to me. So I'm just gonna say this probably has 100% positive, pretty much. So,
and plus that, it still has the free demo, so it looks worth giving a shot.
Next up is Deepest. Oh wait, how much is it? This is $8.99. Okay, $8.99 US. Yep. Corruption Within. Next up is Deepest Sword.
Venture deep into the cavern of longing in this short yet challenging physics platformer. Plunge your sword deep into the dragon's heart. How deep is your resolve?
I was worried about putting this one on the list because basically you start off with a little stubby sword that you kind of drag behind you, and you've got to climb over all these platforms and everything just to get it, plunge it deep into the dragon, and there is a lot of innuendo from you and the dragon.
Yep. Time to look into his face. How's he doing?
Yeah, so it's like, is it even in kind of thing? So yeah, that sort of thing. And basically you just got to work on getting a bigger sword to take that down the dragon.
We all.
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
But it's hilarious. It's a short game. It is free, and people have put in like 30 to 40 minutes into it. So yeah, it's standing at 91% positive with 297 user reviews. I think for what it is, it looks very well done. It's a funny idea. It's interesting mechanics.
The mechanics remind me of a lot less frustrating version of Bennett Foddy.
Yeah. It's basically Bennett Foddy movement, yeah.
But this looks a little bit more simplified than even in that, it's just spin and move. Mm-hmm. But this looks less frustrating, a little bit more fun version of Bennett Foddy. So minus the innuendo portions of this, which you know me anyway, I'm fine. And I'll get a chuckle out of. It's free too, so I actually put this on my wish list so I can download it later and give it a whirl. Might be fun.
You can't jump, but you have a sword, and you're not afraid to use it. Marvel at your sword's length, though if it's too long, it might get in the way. Fulfill your deepest desires, like stabbing a dragon with a sword. Okay. Yeah. So this was created in 72 hours at a Ludum Dare jam. So that was.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, my gosh. All right. It's free. Next up is kind of in the same vein, Motesolo. No girlfriend since birth.
On a late afternoon in Seoul, you discover two people talking at a local cafe, and you spy on their conversation.
I was looking at this, and it was just like, you kind of like trying to help this guy get this girlfriend, and this guy just completely gives like weird answers to her, and there are like multiple endings. And of course I love an FMV game. This doesn't seem like a kind of like pickup artist kind of game, like thank goodness.
What was it, the one, The Seducer or whatever?
God, that game's so cringe.
This feels less cringy.
Yeah,
like,
interesting
this
enough.
looks more like they know that they're trying to be kind of like cute funny in a way.
Yeah, this is cringy in another way. As in, like you know, you're trying to get some of those cringy answers to see where the endings are gonna go, sort of thing. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I love
this. Oh, go ahead, do it. I'm sorry.
I just love the line where it's like, your eyes are so beautiful. I feel like I could just swim in them. Like, can I just dive into your eyes? And she was just like,
please don't. Please don't.
Please don't. Just stop.
Yeah, and this I like the fact that, and especially like obviously the easiest comparison is the obnoxious seducer game where it's like, here I am, this hot sexy guy surrounded by half-naked women. I will teach you how to have sex with all of them. Like, it's just awful. Like, it bothers the daylights out of me. Where in this one, it's just it took that and actually made it look a little bit more wholesome.
Yeah.
Like still having some of that cringe factor, because like some of the FMV in that game for like the bad answers and all that were actually funny as all can be.
Yeah.
But it was like off the premise of like, you will hook up with hot women if you play this game, and this is no.
Yeah.
This is just cute.
Yeah, this one, and also what I kind of like about this one is that it seems that you get multiple options of how he's going to respond, but because he's such a clueless person, well, he just doesn't know how to. He's never been in a relationship before, so there's just a lot of answers like, oh, okay, this seems like the best answer, but then how is he going to express that? And it's like, oh no, what have I done?
It's the BioWare problem.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
the
like
BioWare conversation choice is like, oh, this sounds like a good answer. Like, it's like you just say thanks for the help. Yeah, thanks for the fucking help.
Oh no, I didn't want you to say that. No, I got dark side points. Why? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, it's 10% off right now at £14.39, and altogether it is standing out very positive with 87% with 306 user reviews, and recently it is standing at 91% positive with 112 user reviews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks really fun. This is an FMV I would definitely get into. I like Korean dramas as well, and I actually recognize some of these actors. So
that's cool.
Yeah, these are legit actors like that they have on here. So
that's really cool.
These are legit actors. So I kind of wonder if COVID may have actually resulted in them being able to do kind of smaller stuff like this, because
that makes some sense.
Some of these actors I think are actually kind of big. So
Thanks,
I'm gonna need to
COVID.
look at the list. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at the like to compare it to like the cast, but anyhow. So it looks cool. Anyhow, I think this might be one of the few FMVs that are going on my wish list just because it looks funny. Also, it's like I resemble that remark. 29-year-old has never been in a relationship. It's like, oh.
We made Dewey Bear the game.
Next up, it is Dewey Bear the game. Next up, Thursday, June 10th is Kochu's Dream.
A 3D bug adventure game. Emoji. Run, jump, and shoot while you chase an elusive fairy. ... Can you turn back into a human?
Any guess about who the developer of this game is?
Sokpop Collective.
Yep.
Beloved for the show, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sokpop.
we love Sokpop, definitely.
Definitely our most consistent developer, but that's basically their business model. Is you subscribe to them and you get games every month that their team develops, and this looks like the latest one, Kochu's Dream. Seems a bit more ambitious than a lot of their games actually, because it's got the access. It's got like this whole story thing that you're supposed to complete. So because some of their games are really small scope, and this one seems a bit bigger scope.
Yeah, this is about an hour to 2 hours of gameplay. There's 3 boss fights, 10 plus collectibles, multiple items to find, 5 plus characters to meet, and of course you play as a bug.
Yeah. It is.
That's trying to turn back into a human.
$5.99 USD.
Oh, $5.99 here as well. Getting ripped off.
Oh no! Yeah.
Yeah, they do have their link in the description that'll take you to Sokpop.co for the $3 a month subscription.
Yeah, and I think does that give you access to all their games? I don't know.
I don't know.
It'd be cool if it retrospectively gave you access to all the games.
But they're only 5 user reviews, so unfortunately we can't we don't know.
Yeah.
Don't have a full overall score for it.
Okay. Next up is Mercenaries Blaze.
Mercenary Blaze is the 5th fantasy tactical simulation RPG. Certainly, there's more than that out there. Turn-based battles are carried out on an isometric map. Attack and defense results vary depending on the direction you face, distance, and elevation, making gameplay challenging enough to satisfy the even pickiest strategy lovers.
This is not going to be localized well.
Nope.
So I kind of found it odd that they said the 5th. So I was like looking on their on like the developers, like, okay, do they have like 4 other games? But I was looking through it and I just couldn't find. I think it's a mistranslation of some sort. So
yeah, because it's like, is this the 5th fantasy tactical simulation RPG ever in existence? It might be.
Who knows? Maybe it's a remaster. I don't know. Maybe it is. It looks fantastic. I love the aesthetic of this one. Also, it's much better reviewed at 72% than the previous games. We've had a lot of like JRPGs, and this is also the first JRPGs we've seen today that was actually made in Japan.
Yeah.
So all the others were the other 2 were both European JRPGs, which that's a weird genre.
The first one. This is the first one we ran into that I would actually consider putting on my wish list. This isn't typically my style of game, but like the art, everything, the localization has me a little concerned on trying to play it.
Yeah.
Especially if the combat is a little bit more heavy involved. But it looks good. Like it looks very in-depth, tactical. I like the artwork, especially compared to what we've seen today.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the artwork. I'm not a fan of the maps, and the battleground sort of thing. It's a bit for me. I do like the actions though that the characters do. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think.
For me, I almost disagree a little bit because and I think it's mostly because of what we've seen today too. This is kind of the more better looking side. But even like the tactical map fighting, there's a clarity to it that I really like. Of like, oh, I can see exactly where everyone can go. It takes away from like
it takes
away from it. But
there's a clarity, but also there's just like, is it artistically nice to look at? And for me, that's no.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
that's super fair.
I definitely think I would pick this one up eventually. So it's on my wish list. It has. I was looking at the negative reviews, and what's nice to see is that even the negative reviews are saying the story is quite good. But they're more complaining of the mechanics. Like it's a little bit too simple. It's a very simple tactics RPG. So if you want looking for like to dip your toes into tactics RPGs, this might be a good one to try out. But folks that are fans of like Final Fantasy Tactics or Ogre Tactics are like, yeah, it was a little basic. Like there's not really deep strategy here. But that said, Final Fantasy Tactics has extremely deep strategy, so I don't know what they're scaling that on.
I mean, this is 10% off right now at £16.19, and as you said, it stands at 72% with 70 users.
Okie doke. Next up is another RPG, Alchemist Adventure.
Explore a world full of adventure in this action RPG that tells the story of Mia, powerful alchemist who travels across the dangerous lands of mythical Iser, trying to recall the lost memories of her past.
But without your memories, who will you be?
Yep. So of course the amnesiac protagonist, as is necessary for RPGs. Well, almost necessary. The 3D art is a little bit, I'm not going to say like crunchy, but it is very like from a past generation. Like it's not really taking advantage of modern tech very much. Because I do think there is good color theory and aesthetic going on, but it's like, I don't know. I've seen small devs do something that looks a lot more modern and smooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen like was it Earthbound or something like that, and they had sort of like similar style to it or similar look. But I do like there must be like cutscenes or something. The cutscenes look spectacular.
Yeah. They do have like these sort of 2D cutscenes and such, but I like the isometric. I think something about the camera angle on the isometric's a little different than I'm used to.
Yeah, it's a little off.
Yeah, something's off. It's not quite the Diablo angle, which is what basically everyone's done.
Yeah.
And this isn't quite that Diablo angle. It's different. I don't know if it's bad. I feel like I'll have to play it and see if I can get used to it or not.
Fair. Very, very fair.
But, yeah.
I think what's bothering me about this is the animation. I think the animation is it's like definitely a bit off.
Yeah.
Something about it. I sort of think Earthlock. That when you look at the screenshots look great, but then when you have the movement in it does there's something not quite right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
The good news, there is a free prologue.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, it is standing at 10% off right now at £10.25, and it's standing at 87% positive with 32 user reviews.
Yep. And an interesting thing with this, since it's alchemy and such, you can combine different elements and stuff and create new. There's a lot of like a spell building system that seems to be partly based around how knowledgeable you are about how the magic system works. So there's all these like situational, like, okay, I need to cross this river. Well, it's not flowing here, so maybe I can just like freeze a bridge across, kind of thing. There's all these sort of there seems to be all these sort of like situational stuff you can do with the spells. So that seems to be where they've really put their design effort into, is the spell casting.
Which I mean, it's the reason why I loved Magicka. When that game came out, it just all of the combinations you could do for traversing and all that. So if that's where they put their focus into, a little bit back more on board with this game, because I kind of checked out a little bit early on that game, at least on the Alchemist adventure, because it's like, it's not my style. But then seeing the little bit more of the elemental side, like, okay, this is okay.
Yeah, if it all depends on if the elemental system works. Also, it seems you have to collect like elemental powers or whatever, or where you have to craft them and such. So as you can see, they have it stocked up at 99. So that crafting process, provided it's like fast, like you can make like 50 or 60 really quickly, that's fine. I'm fine with ammo systems in RPGs, but just as long as it's not. I'm not going to be spending like 3/4 of the game crafting. That's going to be real annoying real fast.
I mean, you're an alchemist. You got to mix chemicals and do stuff together.
Yeah. This is developed by Bad Minions, which is a small studio from Brasilia, Brazil. So another one of the another Brazilian developed game. So very cool. Nice. Next up is Chicory, A Colorful Tale.
A top-down adventure game in a coloring book world full of vibrant characters. Use painting powers to explore, solve puzzles, make friends, and draw on anything. From creators on Wonder Song and Celeste.
Yeah.
This looks like, when you were a kid and you had those coloring books, but you got the color by just getting a water on a paintbrush, and then you just like uncover all these beautiful colors in there. It reminds me of that. The look of it, so lovely.
Oh yeah, it does have a really just. It's got quite a pretty look. I like the idea of you sort of gradually coloring the world. It does seem, I can definitely see the influence from Wander Song.
Yeah, the Celeste side, not so much.
No, but definitely Wander Song. I wondering if there are like those. I did and I didn't like Wander Song. I didn't like all the like platforming bits, and there was like a few fiddly. I found a lot of it quite fiddly. So I'm hoping that's not the case with this game. Because it kind of like, oh, this might be something I could be into, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to watch someone else play it for a bit. Because I like the thing that you're solving puzzles and you're making friends.
I need to make friends.
For some reason, I thought there were going to be like bosses in this game, but I'm not sure. I might be confusing it with something else, but
the real boss is the friends you made along the way?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not seeing anything about combat in the description, so maybe I'm confusing with a different game. But I thought there might be like some bullet hell bosses in this, but I think I'm confusing with something else. It does look very nice.
Yeah.
And in general, Wanderson, whether it was like your type of game or not, I feel like it's a trustworthy developer because a good designer.
It is £15.49 and it's standing at 96% positive with 91 user reviews.
Yep. It's $19.99 USD. Developed by Greg Lobanov, who's based out of Vancouver, Canada, and along with Alexis Dean Jones, Lena Rain, Madeline Berger, and the team at A Shell in the Pit. Okay. Next up is Valley of No Roads.
Valley of No Roads is a city building puzzle where you create beautiful cityscapes and explore the procedurally generated maps. Build the relaxed city that needs no roads.
Ooh, this seems very satisfying.
Yeah. I love a city builder, and when I saw this, I was like, ooh,
hello.
This could be my next city builder game.
It's like Oasis so City Builder.
Yeah, especially like you get very much like big like Santorini vibes with like the big white and blue, or like even colored domes.
Yeah,
so nice.
It does look very satisfying. This is kind of one of those, not so much. Well, so there is apparently a puzzle involved, so I guess that is a gameplay element. But was like, ooh, this. I hope there's just a creative mode, honestly, because that's
just pure sandbox.
Just pure soundbox.
That'd be so cool with that.
Let me see. They've said so. There are two negative reviews and two positive reviews right now. The negative reviews seem to be like the players are confused about like, wait, how do I do this?
How does stuff work?
How does stuff work? And the person who really liked it is that it's a fun and very challenging Tetris-like game. Tetris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm running into, you start the game with few blocks made of houses, placing those on the corners of previous houses. Every area has its task to be fulfilled, requiring you to place certain amounts of blocks, creating new bodies of water or migrating a market square to the area. Tasks vary, and by fulfilling those, you unlock new parts of the map, rewarded for every block you place and every task you fulfill. So it can be tricky. So it's the explanation's a little muddy. Like that was not like the most concise explanation of exactly what you're doing, and even the screenshots and the little videos that we're watching doesn't show like there's no interface going on. Like there's no text of build this to do this, or like it would normally be like you need this many people out of this to move on to the next. Like there's no typical city building progression that I'm seeing. At least as far as like information goes.
You do unlock new pieces as you progress, apparently, like new different like varieties, but it's all based on RNG. So there's an RNG system, and one of the reviews describes that you can get a bad seed, or like a bad RNG seed, and you just end up with a bunch of water pieces that you can't do anything with.
Oh, that sucks.
So it is possible, but you just kind of start the level over to get a different seed or whatever.
Okay.
It's still a bummer that the generation of it, like the procedural generation, didn't factor that.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a bummer.
Yep. The developer is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, it is £5.79 though.
Yeah, $7.99 USD. Lunar Activities, the developer. They are a solo dev based out of Finland. Next up is a sketchbook about her son.
Through a narrative based on Red Ribbon's new album, Planet X, experience a broken heart girl's journey through thoughts, daydreams, and music.
Another one of these like kind of album promotions.
Yeah, I love that, the video games and music, promotion of music again coming together. I love that.
Yeah, it used to always be like movie to video game tie-in that never worked back in the day. It got better over time, but
I mean, now Sony's doing like 11 different video game movies now. They're doing like their own MCU pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, I like the artwork. It's quite good.
Yeah. This looks really great. I like a good sort of visual novel, and although this looks like quite simplistic, I'm really liking the artwork, and just want to see like where it goes. It says it's narrative shapes around Red Ribbon's Planet X album, an interactive stream of consciousness developed by the choices made during each scene, mixture of comics, animation, and interactive fiction elements, a short and replayable story. So yeah, I'm very curious about this.
It's developed by Team Solitude, which is a team based out of Italy.
And it's 25% off right now, and it stands at $2.99.
Yeah, $2.99. $3.74 USD with 25% off. Next up is Stand 'em Up.
Punish your enemies, take their money, acquire new skills, super moves, and eat shawarma. All this in a tornadic action stand 'em up, following the traditions of classic style beat 'em ups.
This is the first time I'm going to say it today, but I actually really hate this pixel art.
Ooh, go on. What's bugging you about it?
I don't like it. Things are just not proportioned consistently. Like some of the backgrounds are okay, but then others are just there seems to be a great variability about how much work went into a scene. Yeah, like there's some ways where it's retro, but the thing is, I remember the retro games looking better than this. So
I think the shading isn't quite there as well, because especially on the characters, it's like
that's flat.
Yeah, completely.
Oh god, the more I'm looking at it, because like originally before, like I was looking at the combat and everything, I was like, I don't mind that. Like it's the beat 'em up style, but there's like the one little driving bit where you can see the trees in the background. You can literally just see flat with an angle for a tree. No.
Yeah, this is the first pixel art game I've seen today that I'm just like, I can't. There's not something I can really compliment it about. Which I mean, I'm sorry. The developer Zhao Eagle Prom. I'm sorry about that, but I don't like the aesthetic of this game.
It looks like it's just over 2 hours as well, which isn't bad because it's 25% off right now at £4.34.
$5.99. Features include a radical level of animated violence, hand-painted, streets of Russian cultural capital from a heartless perspective, harsh synth acid sound of the late 80s, a pack of enemies and bosses you can't help beating up, and shawarma, lots of shawarma.
It is standing at 100% positive with 29 user reviews.
So I clicked in to listen to the harsh synth acid sound of the late 80s, and actually the soundtrack sounds pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It's got that going for it, and the combat portion, and like even the car driving itself, and like there's a spot where like it screech stopped. There's some parts of this that I do actually like. The combat looks good. Like there's you see something like with the chef kind of like twirling a couple of swords, and it's like, okay, just work on the background and details and stuff. The gameplay portion must be good if it's got 29 positive reviews.
Yep, and all but one of them is in Russian. But looking at them, the English review does seem to like this is like making a lot of cultural references that maybe only Russians will get. So
that's rough.
Yeah, and it's like about it's about a famous blogger in Russia. So that's like what? Okay. Or they're making, or there's like references to that. So I'm just oh, all right. But yeah, Yuri Kovansky led a modest and peaceful life as an ordinary video blogger, having millions of subscribers. Suddenly it comes to an end. So yeah, interesting. Just bunch of references.
What you got for us next?
Next up, Saturday, June 12th is our final day, actually. Fossil Corner.
Your retired paleontologists collect fossils and solve puzzles in the calm of your old garage.
No one really cares about that.
If you're retired, why are you still working with fossils?
Hobbyist, I guess.
This is so. I really like the look of this. Like,
cute.
Yeah, it's got that sort of handle with care kind of look to it, and so it's like grow your dream fossil collection. Countless species are possible. Solve chill, tactile, procedurally generated puzzles. Retirement hasn't been easy. Use your old computer to email your friends. Maybe that'll help. Stare out of the window, watch the leaves blow by, and hear the sounds of fall. Features an original soundtrack by Dylan Payne and Bobby Volpendesta. So I just think this is like a nice sort of like relaxing kind of game, and
I didn't understand the puzzle portion of it right away, like taking a look at it, but it's meant to be a family tree.
Right.
So that's how you're connecting. So you do the colors first, and then you kind of click of like, oh, this would be the offspring of this fossil, and then these two would be the offspring of this one, and keep stuff separated. So looking at it, I'm like, I really don't get how this is connected.
Yep.
But actually seeing the explanation, like, oh, okay, that's actually a lot more clever than I was about to give it credit for.
Yeah, so it's just a categorization game, basically.
And this is part of the Gorilla Square Collective. So they've got a whole bunch of games, like a lot of short games that you can check out, and some really unusual stuff in there. So yeah, I recommend people give that a check out.
That is 100% positive with 15 user reviews and $7.99 USD, and is developed by Brady Soglin, who is based out of Chicago, Illinois.
20% off right now at £5.75.
Okie doke. Next up, Alecone.
Alecone photographed dozens of whimsical creatures, solving puzzles to get them to strike collectible poses and befriend them through unique quests and minigames, from snowflake design to tuning and playing crystal harps to organizing parties. It was a creature dating sim?
There's definitely this week there's been like a lot of like photographing animals kind of games. So yeah, this is the heads up for people. But yeah, this is it's cute.
It is really cute.
Yeah, it is. It's got. I know there were points where like, oh, that lighting looks bad, and then like I look at it for a bit, and it's like, oh, okay, that looks fine. It's just some of the really bright colors can sometimes make the lighting look a little strange. You can add stickers. Oh my word! Wow. This what a funny looking game. My word.
It's really cute. And it's part of that Gorilla Square Collective again.
Yep. So let me see. Micromanagement features. What is the feature list? There's puzzles, quests. All right, 50 characters, each with their own unique personalities, dialogue, quests, and collectible poses. Photography, gameplay, full free roaming movement, unique quests and puzzles, many involving photography, music, art, and dialogue. An original soundtrack inspired by Nintendo 64 classics. Oh, okay. So they're very much going for
Nice.
like a sort of a Pokemon photo safari thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's 10% off right now at £11.15, and there's currently only 8 user reviews, so not got a full look on what people think of it, or percentage-wise anyway.
Yeah, and it only came out yesterday, so I'm seeing up to 4 hours, but I don't know how long it is actually. But okay, and our final game is Beasts of Maravilla Island.
It's a 3D adventure game where you take on the role of a young wildlife photographer who traverses Maravilla Island's magical ecosystems to discover extraordinary creatures, learn their behaviors, and most importantly, take a lot of photographs.
Yes.
Stalk them with the camera.
Yeah.
And it's another one in the Gorilla Square collective. So another one in that collective and another photography style kind of game.
Mm. And of course, the new Pokemon Snap was announced as well. So
yeah.
That's already been out since April.
The newest one? Oh, really?
Yeah. New Pokemon Snap has been out since April.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have it and I've played it.
Oh. Okay. For some reason, I thought that was like a super new announcement. Wow. I'm behind the times on like Nintendo games then.
I know. You should see all the stuff Square's posted, Dewey. You should see all of it.
I need to see all the stuff Square's posted. Anyhow, on this game, the lighting looks great. I actually much prefer the aesthetics of this game for some reason over Alicon, even though Alicon didn't look bad.
I'm kind of the opposite.
One. Really?
Yeah, I kind of like the Alicon a little bit better.
Yeah, there's a lot of I don't know, like in the other one there was like bright colours and everything like that. There is some of that in this, but I'm seeing also a lot of like there's just like this.
I think I like the coloring of the world on this better. Like the background like the locales are very well done on this, but I liked the creatures in Alicon just a little bit better. Like if I could take like a merge of the two, you take the locales of Maravilla with the characters of Alicon, that would be my perfect blend.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And now that I'm looking at it, some of the textures are a little bit muddy in Beasts of Maravilla Island. It's not enough to really bother me, but yeah, there was some of that.
To make a comment about it on a pod.
And yeah, the creatures, I will agree, the creatures in Alicon do seem a bit cuter, or like a bit
There's more personality to them.
Interesting, yeah. These ones seem more directly based on real life animals with some tweaks. Like there's banana toucans, like the toucans where they have the toucan head and then their lower body is a peeled banana.
Yeah, like the banana peel.
Yeah,
which is and don't get me wrong, they're cute. It's just like the creatures in this are, and they're a lot smaller in scale too, where the others like, here's this big thing walking on by, and it's like this is like, oh, look at all these tiny little creatures that you're gonna have to squint and find.
There's some interesting contrast between these two games too. I mean, we're comparing them because they're very similar. So there's Alicon, which has a team of 3 devs, and costs like $15. And then Beasts of Maravilla Island has a team of 19 devs based out of Fullerton, California, and is $9, or $10.
Yeah.
And they honestly both look like they're of similar, like, what's the
caliber?
Yeah, caliber. That's what the word I'm looking for. They seem to be pretty like competitive games, honestly.
Yeah.
When you have 3 devs versus 19 devs, so I find that quite interesting. So
yeah, it's 10% off right now at £6.47. So I'm curious, is like one longer than the other? Going longer than the other? I don't know.
It's kind of a shame they came out on the same day.
Yeah.
Being so very similar.
But this says, take on the role of an aspiring photographer and embark on your journey to fill your grandfather's photo book with the magic of Maravilla Island. traverse a beautiful, unique world freely by running and climbing to discover and engage with the local wildlife. Includes over 50 extraordinary creatures and plants to photograph, each with their own appearance and behavior, such as the sparkling lamp lily and villain, mango kakapo, and the prism-winged butterfly. Complete puzzles and rely on your cooperation with animals, including playing hide and seek with an otter crocodile or helping a bird monkey find his perfect match. Explore 3 distinctive ecological zones: the singing jungle, the glimmering river, and the painted plateau, each containing their own unique flora and fauna to uncover. Put your photography skills to action by taking breathtaking shots however you like. Choose an angle and adjust the height and zoom to get the perfect shot of Maravilla's many mysteries. Create your photo book to your liking by capturing multiple photos of each animal and choosing the best ones to showcase.
So that is interesting because even the description of features are both very similar, because Aukland also had 50 creatures, 50 plus creatures.
I was wondering about that, if it was the same. I'm seeing 100% positive with all the reviews. Like, looking down at the reviews, because it says on the thing there's only 7 reviews. There is currently 18 altogether, and they're all positive, as I can see.
Yeah, but obviously just came out yesterday. Little early to chat about that.
Yeah.
Yep. I wonder if they have like so this one seems to have the upward length of 8 hours, but that's, again, I don't know if that's actually the length of the game or not. So I don't know. Interesting. That is very interesting that we've got 2. These games really should have released at different times, especially since they're part of the same. Especially since they're part of the same collective, because I feel like this is really competing with each other, because they have. Yeah. I don't think either were, of course, copying each other. I think it's just 2 devs that really wanted a new Pokemon Snap. And they ended up making 2 games that are eerily similar to each other. So how interesting. Now we come to the most difficult question of the week. What's your bucket of the week?
Well, what's your bucket list of the week? What game would you want to play before you die?
Best of the week. So the
very best.
I have it just written as BOTW, so best of the week. But that acronym means bug of the week when I was working in QA at other companies. So
I was thinking Breath of the Wild myself.
Oh, yeah, Breath of the Wild, yeah. It means different things to different people. Anyhow,
it really does.
So, who is ready to give what was their favorite of the week?
I could go.
Okay.
So on the week, I ended up just putting there was only a couple of games that went onto my wish list. But the one that I'm gonna give my prestigious I'm not gonna word it that way. I'm going to be nice to Dewey for once because I've derailed this enough. Is Chicory a Colorful Tale? I was pretty quiet when we were talking about this game because I was just kind of staring and looking at it. But Chicory looks so adorable. And I put this onto my wish list because I like how it looks. You tell me anything from like Celeste, and I'm already a sucker for it because Celeste is still one of my favorite games of all time. So if you're already touting with that in there, and I love the art style, I love the use of color, painting around, and it's got local co-op in it too, and I could just see kind of like sitting down with a buddy and just having a blast with this. I love how this looks. My only negative is the price point, but depending on how long the game is, because right now it's the Chicory Colorful Tale sitting at $19.99. Might wait for it to go on sale unless it's like hours upon hours of gameplay. But yeah, that is my tight and juicy game of the week.
All right.
I had to sneak that in there.
I'm surprised it wasn't Deepest Sword. Anyhow, Rody, what is your favorite game of the week?
So I'm gonna pick one from the catch-up list and maybe 2 from the main list. Definitely from the catch-up list, it has to be Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? I want to
fully
experience that game. Yeah. And then I think for my because it's just like it's a complete nostalgia thing, and I really want to experience it because I never got to play it when I was like when I was a kid. So yeah, I want to play Carmen Sandiego, and so for the main list, I've picked quite a few, but I think for the because there was a lot of like nice sort of like indie games that was definitely interesting to me, but it's like what is the best of the best. One of them I definitely have to agree with Tom is the Chicory story, although I am a bit apprehensive because of how Wandersong was and how
fair.
That just
it's very fair.
You know, I got very, very frustrated with it. It was all very nice and it was like really beautiful story, but the gameplay for me was just like, I think anyone who would pop into my stream when I was playing it was just like, oh my god, this is not.
Rhodey,
you're not having a good time.
Stop hurting yourself, Rhodey. Yeah. You don't have to do this for us. We love you, Rhodey.
Exactly. So, I think another one, I think maybe Fossil Corner, because it's just something very nice, something very relaxing. Reminds me of Handle with Care, and it's just I'm just looking for some like a nice relaxing time, and it reminds me of that.
Yep. Yeah, Fossil Corner looks nice, and I like how poetic it is that it's autumn outdoors. He's entered the autumn of life. Yep.
So Dewey, what is your game of the week?
My game of the week, I'm gonna have to go. It was actually pretty easy for me to pick because I've been waiting for it for so long, and that is, of course, Edge of Eternity. I know that it's not in a super great, perfect state perhaps right now, but
it is to me.
Yeah, I need to play it. I need to play it sometime. I feel like this is going to be one of those games that I'm going to have to play as soon as I'm finished with, my current RPGs, and I just have to check it out because this one is a very long game. So yeah, it's priced at $25, but this is a very long game.
For the length of it, yeah.
Yeah,
You'll have to keep us all posted on how it is once you get around to it.
Yeah, and I'm just really curious how good a French team has captured the JRPG spirit. So, and I suppose one more that I could mention. That's actually really difficult because there's so many games, and this week seemed to be the week of games that released that we were super hopeful for, and then got mixed reviews. It's like, no, why do you hurt me so much?
The Motesolo is the other one that was kind of my other contender for the week.
Yeah.
That one was really close to taking it for me.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you though that Motesolo would be my second that I would pick for this week. Yeah. Because
it's like Backbone looked a little too rough, even with all the hype on it, and then Motesolo like just kind of it that took me completely by surprise.
Yeah. I do not normally like FMVs, but this one, just the premise, it just seems like it would be so fun to just play through it and see what all the wacky things that he ends up doing. And it just seems like...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it just seems like good, clean fun, honestly.
Yeah, it's got the right type of cringe.
Yeah.
It's not completely. That like... Oh, I'm just going. My shoulders, my ears are gonna go completely under my shoulders. Cringe. It's like, no, this is like ha 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 cringe. Like,
I'm not
cool
at all this awkward.
We need to make an FMV game about Dewey's life. We need to make this happen.
You know what's funny? I have friends say that I am extremely interesting, but I don't really agree with that. So.
I'm kidding.
I do disagree, but like I guess it's just that I just grew up in a way that like most Americans don't. I grew up in a rural town in the middle of the woods kind of thing. So there's a lot of adventures I went on as a kid that a lot of Americans don't really get to experience.
That sounds like my where I live.
Yeah.
I'm very, very out there. I sent Rhodey a picture of what was out my window yesterday, and it was a lot of people on horses because we had the rodeo was in town.
Oh, I love rodeo. Oh my god.
Oh my god! But keep in mind we've had like 90-degree days, so we felt so bad for the riders and the animals.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the animals have like natural internal cooling mechanisms for this kind of thing.
But it's hot as it's
Yeah.
and the fairgrounds that we host, it's very not shaded well up there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you poor critters.
Oof. Yeah. The
And especially like it's the high school state championship, so it's hard. Like a lot of the horses being very hard ridden. It's like, oh, you poor sweetheart.
Oof. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm derailing.
That's gonna be really, really hot and unpleasant. No, you should do the rodeo in the autumn during like the fair season or whatever when it's a big.
Yeah, see, that's what we always thought
it.
too. But they do it in June around here. And Mom and I were talking like we cannot recall a time where they've had a good weekend for it. Like it's either always storming or always super hot. It's always one of the two.
Hey, muddy rodeo is really fun.
True. Sometimes at least for like the pole bending and stuff like that, you always worry about horses and breaking ankles.
Yeah, that's the one event. But like with like that would be concerned.
Oh, you're bull riding and stuff.
But bull riding and stuff in the mud. Primo.
Yeah.
So primo. Anyhow, enough about that. I just want to ask y'all like what are y'all going to be up to? So Radio Tom, let folks know what you've been up to in your absence.
Hey, well, in the absence of this, I've come back to streaming Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, twitch.tv/the Radio Tom. Mondays and Wednesdays, we're working on Mass Effect. Friday is kind of a bit of TBA. We're hoping to get some more board game stuff in. The YouTube channel, where we got back up and running. This week is probably going to be no content. One of us, me, kind of got sick on my recording time. So, but otherwise, that's come back with board game. Some stand-up comedy content's going to be coming as well. And I'm hoping for some video game content as well. And I started TikTok because I'm old. And I've been doing like old magic tricks because I used to be a traveling performing professional magician for a while, so I've been recreating some of my old videos that I did in college. Like I did what would be called a blindfolded Rubik's Cube solve that you can find TikTok at the Radio Tom.
Nice. All right. And Rhodey, what about you?
Find me on here every week, and occasionally I do a stream on twitch.tv/RhodeyPie, but not recently.
You do? When is this happened? We need Rhodey back. We need Rhodey in our lives.
There's dogs to take care of.
Yeah, Sir Tato. He's been quiet today.
He's not in the room. I don't have him in the room because will snore on the stream.
Yeah, and I am your host Dewey Bear, and of course you can find me here every Sunday with my delightful co-host Rhodey and a guest host, which will sometimes be Tom and often not. Hi. But you know, we trade him out, we flip him out, and
we traded in for better models like Top Gun Bunny, and then I see Bunny, I'm like, I'm jealous. I gotta come back now.
Yeah, well, you know,
kidding.
I hope you'll be able to come back soon. So.
We're hopeful into the month I'll be back.
Yeah.
And don't forget to like and subscribe on the YouTube channel, and follow us on the creator page.
Absolutely.
And let us know in the comments, what was your game of the week?
Oh yeah, let us know that. And of course you can find me watching the Square Enix stream, which I need to see now.
So I may have lied to you about the Final Fantasy 16, but there is Final Fantasy news.
Yeah. I've got to check it out and see what's going on. I'm so excited. But
Guardians of the Galaxy this October.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Awesome. Sweet.
Yeah, right. They did the trailer for it. Anyway, love y'all.
Bye everyone. Bye
everyone. Cut. Okay. Let me see. Oh, and I've got to finish putting those timestamps on the videos. I've been so busy. I've been going to a lot of like doctor appointments, not emergency things, but I have a heart defect like my dad, so
I need to go.
Bunch of stuff
Thanks
to look into.
everybody.
But yeah, bye.